Alright, this is lesson 6, creating parts and symbols. Lesson objective here is after you complete this lesson, you'll be able to create a new part library, create a homogeneous part, create parts from a spreadsheet, copy and rename parts and symbols, customize a title block, validate library. Alright, creating a new library. You can use the file new library command to create a new part library. So we're going to go to file, new, and then we'll see library. Click on that guy. He's open. So now, as you can see, the library is created. We'll go ahead and hit the save as command. Excuse me. Save as command and rename default library name. So here we're going to name it lesson 6. I went ahead and typed it. We're going to find where we keep all our files at. I think it's share, right? EMA training. And should be capture. So here, as you can see, I'm going to create another folder. Folder name is going to be lesson 6. Hit OK. So you can see he's there. Click on that guy. Hit OK. That's going to be my destination for the directory. Looks like I messed up here. Give me a second. Looks like I messed up again, so I have to have a specific extension, so one moment. So we found out what the issue was. The issue was I needed to add a .opj extension. I should have read the little prompt that came up. So I'll hit OK. Looks like we have everything saved. And that concludes this portion of library files. One important thing to mention, though, before I let you guys go is when you create a new library, its location defaults to a directory within the Cadence software hierarchy. Also, the capture libraries supplied by Cadence are organized by part function, such as the op-amp, discrete, gate, etc. It is strongly recommended that you organize your new libraries in a similar fashion. You can also rename your library at any time. You can modify the name and or location of a library by clicking on the library with the right mouse button and then selecting Save As. We did that earlier. I think we clicked on that guy, right? Let's see if I can find it again. Right. So it's like file and new and then library, and then I can right click that guy or even right click the library that I've already created, such as this guy here. I'd typically be able to hit save as, and I can change the name. This concludes this portion of the lesson, chapter 6. Alright, so part 2 of lesson 6 poses the question, what is a package? So for PSpice, package is a grouping of one or more circuit elements. The symbol represents the entire package. The part is said to be single section. If the symbol represents only a portion of the physical package, the part is called multi-section. Other terms are multi-gate or multi-shot. A part has both logical and packaging related characteristics. For example, symbol defines the part graphics and pin names, but packaging information is required to find the number of times the symbol fits into a package, and a logical to physical pin mapping required to annotate a netlist and schematic design. Package contains power, ground, and no connect pins that also need to be considered during part building. So here we're going to go ahead and create a new part. So first we're going to go to design, We go to new part properties box pops up. We go ahead and put 7400. Part reference prefix U. We want a SOIC. We'll say it's 14 pins. Parts per package, we'll say 4. Alphabetic and homogeneous. Also ensure that your pin number is visible. That's clicked on. So a little bit about this dialog box that pops up. You have name. That specifies the part's name. This is used as a default part value when the part is placed on the schematic page. Part names can be up to 31 characters long, for example, R1206, RN55. Part reference prefix which I'm pointing to right now, specifies the first letter of the reference designator, C for capacitor or R for resistor. We also have Pcb footprint. Also pointing to that right there. And that specifies the name of the footprint pattern used during the PCB layout process, for example. Create and convert in U. That's this guy right here. I don't know if I want to go ahead and do that, so I unclick him. But that is primarily for controls, or it actually controls the creation of an alternate version. You might use the convert option to define a De Morgan equivalent. A part with this option specified will have two views, a normal and a convert, that you can switch between once the part has been placed in the schematic. You also have parts per package. It's this guy here. That usually specifies whether or not there are multiple parts in the package. Like gates, for example. Then you have package type. Package type is right below it. It's this guy right there. If the part is a multi-gate package, specifies whether all parts from the package are symmetrical or asymmetrical. This setting cannot be changed once the part has been created. We also have part numbering. The part is a multiple part package. This specifies whether parts in the package are identified by letter or number. For example, U, A, alphabetic, or U1 for numeric. Last but not least, we have part aliases, and that lets you add technology-specific aliases for the current part, such as 5400, 7400, etc. That's this guy right here. And then attach implementation that specifies a behavioral model for simulation or an underlying schematic view for a hierarchical block. Just to let you guys know, once the package type has been set, it cannot be changed. This concludes the second portion of Lesson 6. Thanks. So this is really just an intro to the actual lab, but I thought I'd go through this. So there's the part editor tool palette. What I have open here is the new part properties. When you OK the new part properties dialog box, the capture tool opens the part editor. Part editor tool palette is located on the right side of the capture window. It contains tools used to create the edit part bodies. The following table describes each part editor tool palette button. So you guys can't see this just yet. Let me pull it. Alright, so I've pulled it up here. You got the tool icons bar, selects objects default mode. This symbol here adds an IEEE symbol. This symbol here would add pins. This one adds pin array. This one does it draws lines. You have draw multiple line segment, draws a rectangle, hold shift to create a square, draws an ellipse. So you can do several things, as you can see. So adding graphics. These commands are located in the place pull down menu. Initially, the part editor contains a dotted line, part boundary box, and placeholder properties for the reference designator and part value. All graphics that make up the part must fit within the dotted line boundary box. The boundary box also defines the section area for the part when used in the schematic. The dotted boundary automatically enlarges to surround the part graphics you create. If the part graphics are smaller than the boundary box, the box size must be reduced manually. All graphics snap to 100 mil grid in the part editor window. However, if you do not want to use the snap feature, click the snap to grid icon in the main toolbar to create off-grid graphics. This is also helpful when adding or relocating text properties. To access the Place Pin dialog box, the Place Pin icon in the part editor tool palette. Pins must be placed on the boundary box edges only and must be placed on a 100 mil grid. The table that follows lists and describes each option and field within the Place Pin dialog box. So here we have dialog box option, name, the user description specifies the pin name, and the name ends with the digit 0 through 9. Each pin is incremented by 1 every time you place the pin. You can create a pin name with an overbar by adding a backslash after every letter in the pin name. Just go on and skip to number. It specifies the pin number. The pin number can be alphanumeric. If it ends in a number, it is incremented by 1 after each pin is placed. Width specifies the pin connects to a bus or a wire. Shape, select pin shape from list of 6 pin shapes. And then type, select the pin type from the list of 8 pin types. Pin visible, this specifies pin visibility on the schematic page. User properties displays the user properties dialog box so you can add and edit the pin's properties. Note, pins cannot be added to the corner of the part boundary box. If you needed to place a pin on a corner, enlarge the boundary box before adding the pin. Then shrink the box so the pin is on the corner. There are 2 ways you can edit properties, such as the pin name, pin number, shape, or pin type of the single pin. You can select the pin and then choose the Edit Properties item from the right pop-up menu. You can also double-click the pin to automatically display the Edit Properties dialog box. Lab 6-1, creating a new library. Lab objectives. After you complete this lab, you will be able to create a library and rename a library. So starting capture, go ahead and go into Start All Programs, click on Capture here, hit OK. And go in the main session window and select File, New Library. So in the library, in the main session window, Project Manager window appears here, and a new library file is listed under the Design Resources folder. So you can see that's this guy here. So what I'm going to do is rename the library. In the Project Manager window, click on the library file, library n.olb. What I have here is library1.olb, but I'll be renaming this by clicking the letter N . So here, if you see it says library1.olb, that was what I meant by it earlier. And if there was just library, what I'd want to do is rename it. And I can click and I can go into Save As and then be able to rename the library if I wanted to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to go click on File. I'll click on Save As. In the file name, I'm going to change the library1 to trng.olb. I'm going to click Save. This ends the lesson 1. Thank you.